First of all, I would say welcome to my humble studio.
Thank you.
And it's such an amazing coincidence to bump into you today. Before I say anything, I would love to give you an introduction or like to introduce you to this idea of
Okay.
this whole thing you're sitting at right now, and where we both going to share some information. This I don't know, call it podcast or whatever. It's called Kanefa. Can you pronounce it? Kanefa.
Kind of fun.
Yes.
Okay.
So Kanefa is basically the chair you're sitting at right now in Arabic. But this is an old traditional name for the chair, which we call Kanefa.
Okay.
Basically, this whole program called Kanefa is named after this simple traditional word because this is where all this country started.
Okay.
Politics, traditions, everything. Because people back in the day used to sit down together and discuss all the matters, the political matters, the academic matters, religious matters, economy matters, commerce, everything on simple chairs outside where men used to discuss the future of this country before it's even a country. So nowadays, it's really nice to bring this back, to bring this culture back, where we have people to sit down and just vent out and share the information internationally, because we normally don't get just one person from one particular part of the world, which is my country. We have people like you from Brazil and all over the world. So we believe in there's no differences. We believe in
Yes.
sharing knowledge and sharing love and compassion.
True.
And the coincidence, the amazing coincidence today that I met you, and when you told me where you're from and why you're here and how did you get here, I couldn't stop myself from inviting you, and I really appreciate it for you coming over here.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Can you start just by telling us, let's say, your name, where you're from, and how did you end up here?
Yeah, I am Katya Alvin. I am Brazilian, Italian also, dual citizenship. And I'm 63, and I am retired from the Brazilian Air Force. I retired in 2018, and I just began working towards my goal, which was, after retiring, travel as many countries I could, not because of the number, but because I wanted to get to know more people, more cultures, and meet people just like you. We were just talking before recording that for me, what's important is not the scenery, the beauty of nature, not just that, because I can see that on a film, on a photograph, but meeting people personally, like we are doing here. This is the essence of traveling for me, and I think that's goes to the basics that you have mentioned before. We believe in love, in everybody's equal, and we share everything. So that's the main thing.
So you're Brazilian,
Yes,
and you're
63.
63 years old.
Yeah.
You look amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank
I love
you.
your hair, though. I
No,
really love your hair.
I was better before I began traveling, but you cannot get into fitness traveling now.
Okay. So are you married?
No, I'm divorced nowadays.
Okay, but I mean, do you have any kids?
Yes, I have a daughter. She's 38 now.
Okay.
In
I
Brazil?
I hope she's watching right now.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, true.
Okay. So when you retired from the military and you're a doctor,
Yes.
so when you retired in 2018, you decided to travel the world.
No, I had decided before, way before, even before I joined the military. I stayed in the Air Force 32 years. It was my whole life. Yeah.
Wow, 32 years in the military,
Yeah.
and now you had this in your head. The
Yes.
plan is to go
Every
ahead
time.
and travel the world and meet
Yep.
people.
Yep.
So that's amazing, though. But can you tell us, how did you travel? Because I
How it
know now.
began.
Yeah, how it began. Because I know you came to Kuwait. It took you 5 years
Yeah.
to come to Kuwait.
Yep.
So I want the audience, the people, to understand, how did you get here?
Yeah, well, first in 2018, I prepared everything. I had been downsizing for years. before my retirement and selling stuff because I said, okay, I'm going to be out for long. It's no need to have a house. I had my own house, big one. And I said, no, I keep on paying for annual taxes very high in my country and lots of things. I said, no, I can just sell that and invest the money so that when I need an emergency money, something like that, I can collect something. So I sold my house, I sold my stuff. I live on my pension, which is not a lot, but this kind of life nowadays, I don't have many needs because the bike is small. What's more?
Okay, well,
Okay.
I want you to stop here because
Yeah.
the audience still don't know how did you come here. So
Yeah.
can you start the whole
Yeah, okay.
motorcycle thing?
Yeah.
Because we didn't get into that. So
Yeah.
so first you decided you want to travel the world.
Yes.
You saved a lot of money. You got your pension. You retired. Now
Yeah.
you're free and you can do your own.
True.
Then you sold everything you have and you have like you liquefied everything, so you got
Yes,
enough money
yes.
to do whatever you dreamed
True,
of, which is,
true.
let's say, one of the things that you dreamed of is traveling the world.
Yeah.
So now you can do that. So you told me that you rode a motorcycle
Yeah.
to travel the world. You didn't decide to get on a boat. You didn't decide to get in a car. You didn't decide to get on a plane to travel the world. But
No.
yet,
Yeah.
and a female. So, like, I'm not saying you're less or you're different than a man, but you're like, listen, we all know
I
that
know.
you're physically less stronger
Yeah.
than a man. So, riding a motorcycle all around the world, that takes a lot of brain. That takes a lot of tenacity, strength, motivation. How did that start? That's what I want to know.
Well, with a lot of fear of the unknown, not fear because I didn't know my capacities and capabilities. No, because of the unknown. When you just begin traveling aimlessly, I would say, like I am now, I only have a bearing, like north, east, west, or south. And then I keep on going. I have to plan ahead for the visas. Like we mentioned, I have the Iranian visa now, but 3 months ago I didn't have it. So you need to plan. So the thing began, like I said, I always loved motorcycling. I was into enduro riding, into motocross. When I was young, I said, well, I need to travel longer to get to know people and experience cultures, but with a motorcycle. And I'm no mechanic, so I had to learn a bit of stuff. And there is always a YouTube. You can just Google and say, okay, let me learn how to change this or that. And as you said, I'm not strong anymore. I used to be. I had big muscles. I worked out a lot in the military. But traveling like this, you just lose the muscle mass. You don't have proper nutrition. You keep on moving from place to place. You cannot carry a lot of stuff.
I totally understand, but what I want to know is, why did you decide to travel with a bike, not a car, not an airplane?
Because it was always on my blood. As I mentioned, I have always ridden a motorcycle since I was 16. And I said, one day I'm gonna travel the world with a motorcycle.
So that started in 2018 or 19? No. I mean the trip, the actual
The
trip.
trip in 2019, in February 19, I was going to start November 18, but my daughter had to operate her back. Now I have to operate my back. So I think it's familiar stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you decided that, okay,
Yes.
you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And you got the money and you got the time and everything.
Yeah.
So you decided to do it and you go ahead and started in, you said
February 2019.
2019.
Yes.
So that was before Corona.
Yeah.
Yes, before
yes.
COVID.
Yes.
So when you decided to do that, I am 100% sure that there was a lot of planning. Where are you going to start from? Where are you going next? The routes, the trajectory. You planned all of that, right?
No, not a lot, because in the military, I was a logistics planner, not just a doctor, because you have other things that you do. I was an instructor in the command and staff school, logistics. So I was a planner. And I said, I don't want to plan the way I did for 30 something years.
I just want to do things randomly. I just
Yes.
want to wake up and go
So,
wherever.
yeah, I had already ridden for a short periods because when I was working, I didn't have many vacations. In South America, very short trips, and I had pinpointed places that I just rushed. And I said, I need to come back to see this, this, this. So those things just gave me a bearing. And I said, okay, I'm gonna begin in Rio, in Brazil. I need to go all the way down to the bottom of South America, Ushuaia. I had been there before, but very quick. I said, I'm going to take my time and meet people along the way. Then I get to the bottom. Then I go all the way to Alaska and the Arctic Circle, the three Americas. But this bike that I bought in 2019 before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So you went,
Okay.
the first trip was all the way south. To
It was the
South America.
Americas.
Yes,
The first trip
yes,
was
South America.
was going
all
to
the way
be-
down to
Yeah.
the south is
And
of
then-
the south. And then you went back all the way up to the up north.
Yes.
Right.
It was going to be the three Americas, South, Central, and North.
Okay, so how long did that take you?
It was supposed to take me around 2 years, but I had to abort it in Peru because the bike I bought, I always had BMWs.
GS, right?
GSs, all the
Yes.
GSs, the 1200, 800, the older ones, 1200, 800, 700, 650. And when I decided to begin traveling like this, I sold the 1200 because it had too many electronics. I wanted a simpler bike because when something breaks in the middle of nowhere, you don't have the
chip to update and
yeah,
this and that.
you don't have any resources. I said, no, I need something smaller and simpler. Then I bought a BMW also, but it was the 650, the monocylinder, one cylinder.
So
Yeah.
I totally understand that. But what I'm trying to get at here is like when you decided to go to North America, you
Yeah.
went to North America, right?
No, in this trip, no, not this time.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
things happened. You decide something, but lots of things occur.
So you didn't go to North America?
With this bike, no, I did
no,
go.
no.
I went with another one.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying about the bike. I'm saying about the trip.
No, this first leg of the trip, I had to abort in Peru.
Okay.
I went all the way down again. And when I was already going down in Ruta 40 in Argentina, which is gravel road, everybody wants to ride that thing. It's a very nice place, route to go, but it's very rough. And the bike began just leaking oil from the center spring. And you don't have resources. Up to Ushuaia, the bike was like no spring at all. And I couldn't find a replacement down there. Only when I get back to Chile, I found a replacement. Then it was a lot of money to replace the main thing on the bike, the spring. So
what you do?
I spent a lot of money already. Then I continue going. And one of the most interesting ridings in Chile, which is the Carretera Austral. It's a route that everybody goes also. It's very scenic, but very rough also. And it's always on construction. And when they have construction, they have lots of loose gravel all over. And all of a sudden, you are going in a very compact gravel. They don't warn you. And you are 100 kilometers an hour, and you get on loose gravel. So I fell.
Okay.
I fell. The bike
Wow.
fell over my ankle, and I sprained 2 big ligaments here.
Oh.
So then I continued riding, but I couldn't walk. When I was riding, nothing hurt,
But when you walk.
but I couldn't touch the ground.
Okay.
And I couldn't find anywhere to buy walking sticks or poles or canes. Down there, I didn't find anything. So I just resourced to a small stick from a tree, but I couldn't walk. So every place I stopped, by the end of the day, I needed to walk to buy food. I needed to walk to do stuff, but I couldn't because it really hurt.
Okay. At that time,
Yeah.
didn't you decide to like Okay, that's it. I'm done. I should go
No,
home.
not yet. Because as a doctor, I'm stubborn. And as a doctor, I don't treat myself like a patient.
Okay.
I tell the patient, don't walk. You need to take care of the ankle. But I don't do the same. You know that.
Okay.
Doctors are like that. So I said, no, I can go. So I just put some stuff on the
And that was in
bandage.
Peru?
That was in Chile.
Oh, Chile.
Down there.
Okay.
But then I continued going and going and going. I got to the north of Chile, crossed to Peru. And going and still hurting a lot. Finally, I found by the frontier there is a free zone. They have big stores. I found the walking stick. I said, okay, now I can walk more. No, I couldn't. And in Peru, like 300 kilometers above Lima, the capital, the bike began leaking coolant from the radiator. It almost exploded. I was running the bike and all of a sudden a noise like this. I said, what is that? Then I look at the boots. Everything stained. I said,
Okay, it's all water.
the coolant.
Yeah, from the, yeah.
Yeah, it's sticky.
Yeah.
So
was it because of the temperature? Was it hot?
No. Later on, I discovered the BMW, the motorcycles, I don't know nowadays. At that time, they have a fan just to cool down every time the temperature goes up. But this fan would
Broke?
rub on the walls of the radiator, and the radiator was not metal. It was plastic.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So that thing just
That was on the GS.
in the 650 GS.
GS 650.
Yeah, the G
Okay.
650.
Okay.
And then I have to tow the bike all the way to Lima again. Money, 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 money. And when the bike finally got fixed, I said, I need to rethink this trip because I have already spent a lot of money. My house wasn't selling yet. I hadn't sold it yet. I put it for sale, but the price on the market was like this.
So how far are you in the trip now? A few months?
That trip, I came back to Brazil on May. So, and
So
then
you left in Feb? came
in
back
May I was
in-
back.
Okay.
I just came through another route direct from Peru to Brazil, all the way down. And then as soon as I arrived, I was like depressed a lot. I said, what's going on? What am I gonna do? What kind of bike am I gonna buy? And I was short on money already. And then a friend that was also a motorcyclist, she said, I'm going to Portugal. I'm gonna live there for a while. Why don't you come along? I said, it's a different mindset, but I was really lost. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to Portugal with you because I'm Italian, I can live a bit in Portugal. And then I thought, maybe I just changed my idea. I begin traveling Europe, then I go to Africa, or go to the Middle East. Then I went to Europe.
But this time you flew on a plane.
I flew on a plane.
Okay. All right.
It just took me a month to prepare everything again. I sold the bike.
So you flew to Europe.
Yep.
And you sold the bike back home.
Yeah.
Right? And you bought another bike in Europe.
No, that's what the idea. I just bought a bicycle.
A bicycle.
A bicycle. 2 wheels also, but no
Okay,
motor.
a bicycle.
Yeah.
That was in Portugal.
In Portugal.
Okay.
Then I began traveling with the bicycle around before I would buy a motorcycle. But then I met through Facebook a Canadian guy in Canada, and he told me, why don't you buy a bike here and do your trip backwards? I was going from the south to the north with the BMW. Then in Peru, that thing broke a lot. I came back. And he told me, why don't you do backwards? You buy a Canadian bike and you ride south. I said, that's a good idea. Why not? I didn't even know the guy. And I said, you know what? Are you able to help me buy a bike? Yes, I am. Okay, I'm gonna fly in. Then I bought the ticket. I flew to Canada. I met the guy. He drove me around and we kept on looking for a bike and I found the bike, a 700 GS.
Okay.
Yep. Then I bought the bike, but imagine that, I am crazy. the first time I met the guy, he was even older than I am. He was a late bloomer on bikes. And he had a 1200 GS also. And he said, well, you can leave the bike with me and then you set your stuff in Portugal, then you come here and begin everything again. I said, okay, I need to go back to Brazil first because all my riding gear, everything is in Brazil.
That's a lot of money you're spending right now. Tickets.
Yes, it
food,
is. No, but the
just...
ticket I didn't spend because my brother works, he's a pilot in the Qatar Airways. So I have like standby tickets for free
Okay.
in many airlines that code share with Qatar. So I flew from Portugal to Canada the first time. And the second time that I was going to go back to begin my trip with the Canadian bike, I flew through London and then Canada, everything without paying, because my brother would put me on the standby list. It's a miss and hit.
Okay.
You can be lucky and get to ride.
So now, after that, you flew back to Canada, and the ride started from Canada all the way
No,
down?
first I bought the bike. Then
Yeah.
I flew back to, and I bought the bike in his name, the
Yeah.
Canadian guy.
Okay.
First time I saw him.
Okay. Now, that's crazy.
8,000 Canadian dollars.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
like seven
Okay.
US. And then I came to Portugal. I got my stuff, flew back to Brazil, packed everything. This was 2020. Yeah, because I spent 5 months in Portugal and I went to Brazil, and in 2 months I got everything ready to fly back to Canada. Then I got my ticket for March 2020. 2 days after I arrived in Canada, COVID struck.
So you got stuck there.
I got stuck for a year and 8 months.
Whoa, you couldn't leave Canada.
No, the border was shut.
So how did you manage? How did you live there? Where did you live?
Well, this friend hosted me in his house.
Wow.
He received me in his house, and I would try to compensate because I wouldn't pay a rent.
Yeah.
I couldn't camp. It was the winter. So,
It's really cold up there.
yeah, minus 40, no way.
Wow.
And it was Ontario area, very, very cold, even colder than Alaska. I didn't know.
Okay.
So I would pay for groceries. He enjoyed red wine like I sometimes do. So we would compensate with the wine and also pay for groceries and everything because he would host me there. And we spent the COVID quarantine there for months. Everything was shut. Nobody could go anywhere. And I began really traveling. I tried to get out many times, but I couldn't even truck the bike across the border because the Canadians and Americans were doing that. They were putting their motorcycles in a truck, and the trucks were crossing the border. They were flying in. I could fly also, but the problem is, since I bought a Canadian bike, but I was not Canadian, neither American, nobody would truck my Canadian bike because the owner was not one of the two nationalities. So I was stuck, really stuck. And then I met...
How did you fix that?
I met a motorcyclist, dual citizenship girl. She worked in a BMW dealer. I already followed her in Facebook, but only Facebook. And he lived near the border in Detroit, near the border with Canada. And she told me, Katya, let me go to the border. I'm going to ask them if, being a dual citizen, I can cross the border and ride your bike back. Okay. Anything.
That's really nice.
And the answer was positive. The guy said, just ask your friend to make a power of attorney.
Yes.
I said, okay. I went to the lawyer nearby, power of attorney. Then I rode all the way back, almost 2,000 kilometers to the border. My friend drove his camper. He wanted us to have a place to crash in. And accompanied me all the way down. And I met her below the international bridge. How are you? Nice to meet you. documents of the bike, keys, power of attorney. And she said, okay, let me cross your bike and I'll send you a message. Okay.
And I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, I just sat there and, okay, let's wait. 15 minutes later, she sends me a message. They didn't even ask for the power of attorney.
Wow.
Your bike's already here. You can fly in. You are going to stay with me in my house. Just go. And I had to drive all the way to Toronto because I couldn't board a plane on the border because the plane was going back to Toronto, then to the US. So my friend took me to the airport. Then I flew in. That's how it began. It was September 2020.
Wow.
No, 2021.
21.
21.
Yeah, after COVID.
Yeah.
So now the trip have officially started.
Yeah. Well, it started when I went to Ushuaia
Oh,
first
I know.
and Peru.
I know, but I'm saying like
But I
now-
had a pause, yeah.
Okay.
Then I restarted with another bike. And it took me a year and a half to get to Ushuaia and Brazil again because I just kept on doing zigzags. And after I arrived in Brazil, there was a big question.
Okay, hold on. So you went back all the way down from Michigan?
From,
Right.
yes, from
Canada,
Michigan,
Michigan,
all the way to
down
Ushuaia, the tip
Ushuaia
of
again.
South America again.
Okay, and then came back home.
Then I went to Brazil. I didn't have a home anymore. I had already sold the
Yeah,
house.
but I mean,
Yeah.
you went back to Brazil.
Yeah, I went back to Brazil, and that was another question because there was a big question that I always had. Am I going to be able to enter Brazil with a Canadian bike? Because my residence was still in Brazil. You cannot get into your country with a foreign bike. No country allows it. Probably here is the same.
Say.
Otherwise, you have to import it, pay all the fees. But since I had lived in Portugal for 5 months as an Italian, an European citizen, I had still a bill of residency written in my name from Portugal, valid. That's the thing that I used to get into Brazil and telling the guys in customs that I didn't live there. I told them, see, I don't live here. I live in Portugal. I just want to visit my daughter and I'm getting out with the bike again. It's like I'm a tourist, a temporary import. It took a while, but they granted me that. So then I got to Brazil, but I cannot sell that bike there. What do I do? And why would I sell the Canadian bike? It was a nice bike. I had some issues, but all of them fixed on the road. Because for taking a motorcycle across the ocean to another continent, you need to have the registration current in your country or the bike's country. The registration from Canada was not current since I left Canada because I didn't pay for insurance anymore. Nobody cares when you cross the borders in South America. They only need the registration. They don't care if it's current or not. But the guy who's going to ship or fly your bike to the other continent, he wants it current. So I couldn't have a bike from a country I don't live in. That's the only reason I sold the bike. I sold it for peanuts in Paraguay because there was a collector. Okay. And he had a museum. My bike is in a museum now. Yeah, very nice.
Okay, so now you decided to leave the continent and go to a different continent, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now you're going to Europe.
No, Africa.
Oh, you're going to Africa.
The idea was Africa.
Okay,
yeah.
so you left from
from South America, from the Americas.
Yeah, from the Americas
to Africa.
To Africa.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you, or where did you go in Africa? Countries.
It was almost 8 months because the rainy season started. I was planning much more, but I had this delay in Brazil to sell the other bike, to buy a new one, to have the new one customized for me, and renew passport, do all the shots for Africa, lots of stuff that I needed to.
Okay.
It took me a while.
No, I want to know, where did you go in Africa?
Yeah, so I arrived in Cape Town first, from Argentina, not from Brazil, because it's way less bureaucracy if you ship or fly out from Brazil. So I rode the bike to Buenos Aires and flew it to Cape Town. It was rainy season and winter in Cape Town. So I only stayed 2 weeks in Cape Town to change the system. I put tubeless system on the wheels, and I bought new camping gear, lots of stuff. Then I decided to go immediately to Namibia because it was drier. It's still very cold, but no rain. So I went to Namibia, then I went to Botswana. The idea was do all the loop to the east and come down again to South Africa to do everything that I hadn't done during the rainy season. But when I was in Botswana, friends told me, Katya, your visa in South Africa is still running. It doesn't stop when you leave. I said, what? It's 90 days. I said, no, I have been a month in Namibia, almost a month in Botswana. You better cross back to South Africa if you want to ride some places because the clock's ticking. No, I don't believe you. So I went to the border and they confirmed, no, only if you fly out of the continent again and come back, then you are granted 90 days again. I said, I'm not flying out. I have a motorcycle. Okay. So I took another month riding around. Then I met a local biker. I stored my bike in his house. We went with a truck camper to visit the big game parks because you cannot ride with the motorcycle because it's dangerous. You have lions, you have leopards, you cannot. So we just rode for a week, seeing all the game. Then I got the bike again and I crossed to Eswatini, previous Swaziland. Very tiny country, very pleasant country. And then from there I went to Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, Tanzania, and Kenya.
All of these countries, I'm fascinated now. Wow. So all of these countries requires visas, right?
Not all of them.
Some of them.
Some of them. Some of them you get the visa on the border. Some of them, they call it a visa. It's not really a visa. It's a entry permit.
Entry permit.
Or an e-visa like here. I got into Kuwait with an e-visa online. Some of them you do the same. So none of them I had to apply beforehand, like for Iran. I applied for the Iranian visa.
Let's not jump into that yet. But so now you're done with Africa.
Unfortunately, and I'm not done yet.
No, what I'm saying,
I'm out of Africa.
Yes,
because
for that
of the rainy season. Yes, it got me in Tanzania because I was late to leave the Americas.
Great. So now let's go back again just to wrap it up. North America, South America, now Africa.
Yeah.
So what's the plan after Africa?
The plan was come to the Middle East. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Come to the Middle East.
So what was the first country after Africa?
I wanted to ship from Nairobi in Kenya to Doha, Qatar, because my brother and my family lives there. But it was a nightmare in Qatar customs to release the bike. So before I flew, people told me, go to Doha, to Dubai. Dubai is easier. We have the broker there. I said, okay, let's go to Dubai, then I ride back. So that's what I did. The bike and myself, we flew to Dubai. Then I stayed just for 2 days to retrieve the bike and customs.
Okay.
Then I rode across the small stretch in Saudi, went to Qatar.
Did you get to see Dubai?
Sorry?
Did you get to see Dubai? Did you get to see it, Dubai?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I came back.
Oh, you went back.
No, after my brother in Qatar, I came back. Then I came to the Emirates and I spent almost a month in the Emirates.
You like it?
Yeah, but not really Dubai because big cities are not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I
So you went
like
to Abu
the
Dhabi,
countryside.
maybe?
No, I went to the Jabals.
Okay.
I went to the mountains, to the wadis.
Yes.
That's the best place. Whoa.
Okay,
I
so-
camped a lot.
Dubai, Qatar,
Yes, then Oman. Then I crossed to Oman.
Oman is beautiful.
Oman is gorgeous.
Yeah, the mountains, the green.
Yes, and I
just
went
beautiful.
all the way to the border with Yemen because I was curious. and the rockets. I said, no, it's not a good idea. Then I came
Okay.
back through the empty quarter. Then I crossed to Saudi there in the empty quarter.
So you went to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, then I spent a month in Saudi Arabia.
How was it?
Awesome. And it was during the Dakar Rally. It was
Oh,
really awesome.
nice. Oh, that's
I
really
got a
nice.
shirt. I put my tent in one of the bivouacs.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
So it's really
Where
nice.
did you go in Saudi Arabia?
I had to go to Riyadh for servicing.
Did you see
Beautiful.
Riyadh? It's different now.
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
very beautiful, but I didn't like the traffic. No.
It's too much, yeah.
No, and people just move sideways without warning.
Yeah. Well,
I was
that's-
almost killed
yeah.
3 times in
Wow.
Riyadh.
Especially
I said, no.
on a motorcycle.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So after Saudi Arabia, you decided to come to Kuwait?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're here for you've been here for 3 days, you
3
said?
days, and I stayed 3 or 4 more. Yeah, something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
I planned a week around here. Yeah.
What did you see here in Kuwait?
I haven't seen a lot yet because first day when I arrived, it was late. I was tired. I just went to the hotel. I bought groceries and that. Second day, I had to retrieve the Iranian visa because I had applied and I put that I was going to pick it up in the Iranian embassy here in Kuwait.
Okay.
3 months ago, when I
Okay.
did my applying thing, I just figured out I'm going down, and I must be there. I would have spent more days in Saudi because it's too big, but I couldn't because I had to pick up the visa up to the end of this month.
Okay.
So-
so you picked up the visa?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Now you got few more days in Kuwait.
Yes, I have
Do
3.
you have anything in mind, like you want to
Yes,
see or
because
do here?
I have been to TriStar Motorcycles.
Yeah.
I met Salem on WhatsApp because Stephanie.
Salam is the guy that works in TriStar.
Yes.
And TriStar, just for the audience to know,
yes.
TriStar is
the motorcycle
the dealer for BMW and Ducati, I
and
think.
Ducati. Yes.
Okay.
And I have been referred to him by another rider, a solo rider, Stephanie, who had been here, and she said, "Talk to him because I needed to send some spare parts for my Brazilian bike, which I cannot find anywhere. I have some, but I needed more from Brazil to somewhere." And then she said, "Why don't you talk to Salem and see how it works?" And 2 months ago, I began talking to him, and he said, "No problem, just send to my shop.
Yeah, just send it to the shop
Send
and
it
they'll
to the
take care
shop.
of it.
When
yeah.
you arrive, you just pick it up." I said,
Yeah.
"Really? Thank you." So that's what I did. And the spare parts were there waiting for me.
You've been lucky. So somehow meeting good people,
Yes.
people that helps you
But
along.
99% of the people are helpful and good people in the world.
Okay.
What we have on the media is just garbage.
Okay, it is
If
garbage.
we believe,
We're coming back to that.
Yeah.
we'll touch on that.
Yeah.
So now, okay, I'm pretty sure that every country you go to, you notice something, the traditions, the
yes.
culture, everything.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the difference that you've seen from the Americas to the Middle East to Africa. How is the difference? Is it big?
Yes, it is. For instance, I always say that traveling South America, in the remote areas in South America, is like a playground for me.
Okay.
Because it's rough, it's deserted, not many resources, and I like that. North America, Canada, and excluding Mexico, North America and the US, they are too civilized, I would say.
Yeah.
The north of Canada is not. But if you just get to the places where everybody goes, it's too civilized. You have the same standard things everywhere.
Well, I totally agree with you, but you mentioned something really nice. You said 99% of the people all over the
Yes.
world was
Yes.
very pleasant to me,
Yes.
very helpful,
Yes.
and they were willing to help me without
Yes.
even knowing me.
Yes.
I mean, for crying out loud, somebody hosted you in their house for over a year
Many
in
times.
Canada,
Many
right?
times. Many
So,
times.
I mean, that tells you something, right?
Yeah.
No matter what the culture is, no
No,
matter
the
what's
human
the
heart is
exactly right.
good.
Yeah,
It's
I like
good.
that. I really like that.
Yes.
So now you're leaving Kuwait, going to Iran.
Iraq first.
Oh, Iraq first.
Yes.
You have guts. I'm telling you, girl. Like you're crazy. And I'm not saying it's bad, but like it's really nice
Yeah,
because
it's not a really good
I mean,
time.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be safe. I'm
Yeah,
100%,
yeah, I hope so. But
100% sure it's going to be safe. But
yeah,
it's just, I don't think there's too many out there, females on motorcycles that cross their mind that, hey, you know what? I'm gonna wake up and go on a motorcycle and cross the borders of Iraq and Iran tomorrow. So I
yeah,
think
there are
it's
not many. But you know what? I just met yesterday on WhatsApp group of the Middle East another lady that just got into Iraq from Turkey. So we are probably going to meet in the middle. And Stephanie, this lady who referred me to
Salah.
TriStar, she crossed Iraq also. So
Yeah, I mean, I think you should have. You are going to have a great trip. So now Iraq
then
and then
Iran.
Iran,
Yeah.
right? Then
I have a rough idea that I might
Russia.
exit Iran. Yes, Russia is on my plan, but it depends on the season.
Okay.
You only have a very short window in the summer to ride. And if I go to Russia from Georgia, which is always in my bucket list, Georgia must be gorgeous. So,
It is beautiful.
yeah. So I just want to cross a bit of Turkey. Then I come back later to ride Turkey. Then I go to Georgia, Armenia, then Georgia again, and Russia if I can. But I cannot do the loop because there's not going to be in the season to go to the stands. So I might just ride a bit and come back to Georgia and Turkey. I don't have an idea. Or
So-
store my bike during the winter.
Okay,
I
so
don't
now,
know.
okay, so now you travel all the way to Russia, and then what's the plan for this trip? Where's it gonna stop?
There's not a lot of plan. That's what I mentioned before.
There's no plan. I'm just gonna
no, because
decide on the go.
I plan too much. I have a rough idea. When I went to Africa
But what? No. When is it? When is it gonna stop? Do you have like a deadline? Do you have like a?
for stop traveling, no, I don't have a deadline. The deadline for me nowadays is my back. I have a compression and a sliding of vertebrae. And I should have operated this before. But I didn't want to stop now because the clock's ticking for my age. And I said, I'm continuing. But I have a lot of numbness on my legs and my feet. And I keep on guessing when this is gonna impair my balance.
Okay.
So I really need to stop at some point, release this with surgery, and rebuild my muscles to continue the journey. But that's gonna ground me for a year.
Okay.
And I don't want to stop for a year. So
I need to tell you this. I am younger than you. I'm 50 years old. I have worked all over the place, and I thought I have seen things. I thought I have done things because I'm like you. I love motorcycles. I've been on motorcycles. I have accidents on motorcycles. I've rode motorcycles since I was a kid. But when I sit down with somebody like you, and just to see the passion, it's not just because of a motorcycle, just to see the passion and the endurance for life.
Yeah.
To go out there and have no issues with meeting people from different religions, backgrounds, cultures, males and females, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, all of these countries that had so many controversy over
Yeah.
the news,
True.
wars.
True.
For crying out loud, you went all the way to Yemen and you're going to Iran, having no issues, no fear, because you truly believe inside your heart that these
I
are
do.
just regular humans like us.
yes, true.
Once upon a time when I was in college, I was reading in a history book. That was back in California. So during World War II, I think, the Germans with the Russians used to fight. And they used to stop fighting, let's say at 8 o'clock in the evening or whatever, right? So that was an actual true story. So after they stopped the war, the soldiers used to come out their camps, play soccer
Together, yeah.
together.
Yep,
And
true.
then they go back.
True.
And they fight
They
in the
fight
morning.
and kill each other, yeah.
What
yep.
does that tell you?
Yep.
That tells you that people have no issues with each other.
No, they don't.
They love each other and they want to live in peace and have fun.
Yes.
It's just politics.
It's politics,
Yes.
just politics. Yes, everything is politics.
I love that. Well, I think I can only wish you luck.
Yeah, thank you.
But before we end our story, I'm pretty sure that you had funny, amazing stories all over your traveling. I'm 100% sure. Like, have you gotten in trouble? Have you like something funny, something stupid? I'm pretty sure that all these traveling, you didn't have any incidents.
Oh, I have had incidents. For instance, that Canadian bike, it got me stranded in the middle of the Andes, 4,000 meters, and nothing around, and the bike wouldn't start. Uh, and I had the help of locals to take the bike back to the hostel where I was. And I had this really nice person that I had met in Patagonia. He is in charge of Touratec Peru. And Ivan told me, I'm gonna pick you up. It was 36 hours away. And he drove by himself. He didn't send a worker. He drove the pickup by himself to pick me up in the middle of nowhere, to bring me back to the capital just to try to fix the bike. And
That's a lot of hardship. Like,
it is. It
so
is.
let me close the conversation with this question.
Okay.
I know there's always good, but there's always better. There's always
Yes.
great, but there's always greater.
Yeah.
There's always kings and emperors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your advice to me? What's your advice to everybody as a human being, from a female human being, crazy as you, motorcyclist, traveled the world for the past 5 years on a motorcycle, been all of that trouble? I'm 100% sure that there was times where you felt like, I'm sick of this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going back. My back is killing me. I need to go home. I need to rest.
Yeah.
But there was something pushing you forward, and you were like, no, I'm going to keep going. That applies to everything in
Yes,
life.
that does. When
In
you
relationships,
Yes.
in working, in working out, in diets, and saving money, in business, in politics. That moment where you decide your fate, whether I'm successful
True.
or I'm a loser,
True.
where I'm great or I'm just good enough.
For instance, first, experience gives you some background for that. In 2019, when I quit in Peru because the bike was spending a lot of money and breaking so much, if I had more experience, I wouldn't have stopped there. Even with no money, we just keep on going and sort it out on the road. Just like now, my back is really giving me some trouble, but I said, no, just keep going. I bought a belt and I ride less, but I keep on going. And I try to exercise a bit more, but if I had to tell people what's the greatest gift that I have learned is, don't believe in what the news tell you. Don't believe that. Because goodness doesn't sell papers. Bad things sell papers. So you are only going to see bad news. The good news don't reach the big media.
True.
And 99% of the population everywhere is good people, normal people that just want to thrive, live, work, love, play, just like you, everywhere. People everywhere. So this is what I learned. And you always have the glass, you can see it's half full or half empty. I try to see half full all the time. Because even when I'm on the worst part of the day or something very bad's happening, I said, there's no bad or no bad times that don't compensate and go to good again. So just wait. I just breathe and wait and try to focus in positive things, and help comes. It's amazing. Every time I had the need for help on the road, I would just breathe and say, okay, let's just wait. Something's gonna happen. And it happens. Somebody comes to help you. Or you have a bright idea how to fix something.
Maybe, or maybe you're just lucky.
I don't believe in luck, you know
Okay,
that.
well, first of all, thank you very much for
Thank you.
coming. and accepting my invitation. I wish you all the best. And
Yeah,
I'm going to
thank you
follow
so
you
much.
just to keep the updates and see where you end up and how's it going. And I wish you all the best. And please let us know if we can do anything while you're staying in Kuwait.
No, I'm already overwhelmed by the kindness of Kuwait and people. And so beautiful. And the traffic's not so crazy.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying riding
agree.
here.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
really.
thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And I hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Habibti. Thank you very much.